All right, so here we are with ChatGPT, and I had the idea to see if I could get it to DM a campaign for me, just out of nowhere, and on my phone it worked. So I'm going to give it a try. Got it all set up, and we're just gonna see what happens. Might be awesome. It might be horrible. I'm going to use the read aloud screen reader to read the ChatGPT parts. So here's the scenario it came up with.
As you approach the outskirts of the town, you notice a small group of travelers ahead of you on the road. They're a group of halfling farmers, and it looks like they're having trouble with their wagon. One of the wheels is broken, and they're waving you down for help. What do you do? If you choose to help them, you can attempt to fix the wheel with a DC 12 intelligence, carpenter's tools, check, or provide a spare wheel or parts if you have them. As you continue down the road, the terrain becomes more rugged and the trees grow denser. You hear the sound of running water in the distance, and soon come upon a small stream that cuts through the forest. The road crosses the stream on a narrow wooden bridge that looks a bit rickety. If you cross the bridge, you see a small cottage on the other side of the stream with smoke rising from its chimney. A woman is sitting on the front porch, knitting.
All right, so here's my inventory I had it create.
50 feet of hempen rope, a bedroll, a mess kit, a plate, bowl, cup, fork, knife, and spoon, 5 days of rations, a water skin, a torch, a grappling hook, a backpack to carry it all in.
And I just told it I was giving myself some basic
As for
equipment.
your weapons and armor, you're carrying a short sword and a shield, and wearing leather armor. The halflings thank you for offering to help and explain that they don't have a carpentry kit either. However, they mention that there's a small village nearby where you might be able to find someone who can help with the wheel. They also offer to pay you a small sum of gold if you can help them get their wagon back on the road.
What is exactly wrong with the wagon wheel?
Upon closer inspection, you notice that one of the spokes in the wagon wheel is broken, causing it to wobble and making it difficult for the halflings to continue their journey. If you had a carpentry kit, you might be able to fix the spoke and reinforce the wheel, but without one, your options are limited.
I asked the halflings their names. Interesting choice of names.
The halflings introduce themselves as Philly, Keely, and Ori. They explain that they are farmers from a nearby village and were on their way to the market in town to sell some of their produce. They are grateful for your offer to help, and Philly mentions that they may be able to repay your kindness if you ever find yourself in need of assistance in the future.
What sort of produce are they hauling?
The halflings are hauling a variety of fresh produce in their wagon, including ripe tomatoes, juicy apples, and plump pumpkins. You can also spot a few sacks of potatoes and carrots, as well as a crate of eggs. It all looks quite tasty.
Introduce myself as Wojamoto the Fighter.
The halflings greet you warmly and thank you again for offering to help. It's nice to meet you, Wajamoda, says Philly. We're glad to have met someone kind like you on the road.
I'm wondering what time of day is it?
It's midday, so the sun is high in the sky. As for the village, the halflings estimate that it's only about a mile or so down the road, so it shouldn't take too long to get there. However, they warn you that the road can be a bit treacherous in places, especially with the broken wagon wheel.
Tell them to stay put. I'll be back as soon as I can to help.
The halflings nod gratefully and thank you for your offer to help. They agree to wait by the side of the road while you go to the nearby village to see if you can find someone to repair their wagon wheel. With your short sword and shield at the ready, you head off down the road, keeping a careful eye out for any potential dangers.
Sheath my sword as I approach the village. What do the outskirts of the village look like?
As you approach the village, you see a cluster of small cottages and farms scattered throughout the surrounding fields. The village itself is surrounded by a low stone wall and has a wooden gate at its entrance. You can hear the sounds of animals and children playing in the distance, and you catch the smell of fresh baked bread on the air. As you get closer, you see a few villagers going about their daily business, tending to their fields or chatting with each other in the shade of a large tree. The village looks peaceful and quiet, with no signs of any immediate danger.
Ask a villager the name of the village. I'm from faraway lands, but I don't remember how I got here.
Approaching one of the villages, you ask for the name of the village. The villager turns to you with a friendly smile and says, "Why, this is the village of Greenhaven, traveler. What brings you to our little corner of the world?" As you explain that you don't remember how you got here, the villager listens sympathetically. "That sounds like quite the tale," she says. "If you're looking for information or help, you might try speaking with the village elder." She's lived here all her life and knows just about everything there is to know about this place. She points you in the direction of the largest cottage in the village, which she explains is the elder's home.
What's the elder's name, and is this human village?
The villager tells you that the elder's name is Elspeth and that she's a wise and respected member of the community. As for the inhabitants of the village, it's mostly made up of humans, but there are a few other races living there as well, including a handful of halflings like the ones you met on the road. You also notice a few dwarves working in the fields and a half-elf tending to a garden near the village square. It seems to be a fairly diverse community, and everyone seems to be getting along well.
I asked the villager I'm talking to their name. This is interesting.
Of course, I'm sorry I didn't introduce myself earlier, says the villager with a friendly smile. My name is Sarah. It's nice to meet you, traveler.
Introduced myself and asked her what her occupation is.
You introduce yourself to Sarah and ask her what her occupation is. She tells you that she's a farmer, and she and her family have lived in Greenhaven for generations. She also explains that most of the villagers make their living from farming or crafts, such as woodworking or weaving. How about you, Wajamoda? Sarah asks. What brings you to our village?
I tell her the names of the halflings I met on the road and ask about their reputation in Greenhaven. Make sure they're good people before I help them.
You tell Sarah the names of the halflings you met on the road and ask about their reputation in Greenhaven. Sarah nods and tells you that the halflings are well known in the village for their skill as farmers and traders. They often come to Greenhaven to sell their produce, and they're always welcome in the village. They're good people, the halflings, Sarah says with a smile. Always friendly and willing to lend a hand. It's a shame about their wagon, though. I hope you're able to find someone who can help them with it.
Where can I find carpentry tools?
Sarah tells you that there's a general store in the village that sells a variety of goods, including carpentry tools. The store is run by a woman named Mara, who's known for being fair and friendly to her customers. It's located near the village square, not too far from the elder's home. If you're looking to help the halflings with their wagon, I'm sure Mara could sell you some carpentry tools or perhaps recommend someone who could help you out, Sarah suggests.
So I had it roll a perception check for me. I just made up that I had a +1 to my perception. It rolled a d20 for me. I got an 11.
From what you can tell, Sarah seems to be genuine in her answers and doesn't appear to be hiding anything from you. She seems to be a friendly and honest villager who is genuinely trying to help you.
Thank her and head to see Mara.
You thank Sarah for her help and make your way towards the general store to find Mara. As you walk towards the village square, you can see that Greenhaven is a small but bustling community, with villagers going about their daily business. You pass by several farms and workshops, and the air is filled with the sound of animals and the scent of fresh produce. Finally, you arrive at the general store. It's a small, cozy shop with a wooden sign hanging above the door that reads, Mara's Goods. You push open the door and step inside, and are greeted by the sight of shelves stocked with all sorts of goods, from food and clothing to tools and trinkets. A woman behind the counter looks up and greets you with a smile. Welcome to Mara's Goods, she says. How can I help you today?
Interesting that it's giving me 25 gold pieces and 10 silver pieces to start out. That seems like a lot of money for a starting character. I ask how much a carpentry kit would cost. I notice I spelled carpentry wrong, but it's filling in the blanks for me.
Mara responds, a basic carpentry kit would cost you around 8 gold pieces. However, we do have a more specialized kit available for 15 gold pieces that includes more advanced tools that might be helpful in repairing a wagon wheel. We also rent out tools for a daily fee if you prefer not to purchase a kit outright. She pauses for a moment before continuing, if you don't mind me asking. Are you looking for a carpentry kit for a particular purpose?
The interior of Mara Goods. What does it look like?
The interior of Mara's Goods is cozy and cluttered. Shelves line the walls and are filled with various goods, such as bolts of cloth, foodstuffs, lanterns, rope, and other adventuring gear. There is a counter near the entrance where Mara stands, and a wooden staircase leading up to what appears to be a storage loft. Behind the counter, there is a small workspace with tools and supplies scattered around it. A large, hand-cranked grindstone sits in the corner, and there are several wooden crates and barrels stacked against the walls. The air is filled with the scent of sawdust and spices, and there is a warm, inviting atmosphere to the shop.
Seeing if I could check out the stairwell and the loft upstairs to see if there's anything interesting.
As you take a longer look at the wooden staircase leading up to the storage loft, you notice that the stairs are well worn and creaky, indicating that they have seen frequent use. You also see that the door at the top of the stairs is made of sturdy wood and has a simple latch lock. However, from your vantage point, you cannot see anything specific that is stored in the loft. If you want to investigate further without alerting Mara, you may need to find a way to distract her or wait for an opportune moment to slip away unnoticed.
All right, this is cool. So,
Mara looks at you skeptically for a moment, but then her expression softens. Well, you do seem like a capable fellow, she says, and I can appreciate a bit of kindness towards our halfling friends. Roll a charisma check to see how well you persuade her to give you a discount.
I didn't say I wanted to roll a charisma check. This time I just said I'd like to use my charisma to get a discount because I'm helping, so it knows to make me roll a check. So, again, I'm just making up these stats. So we'll say I got a +2 to charisma. I guess I could actually roll a die, but that wouldn't be honest because you wouldn't be able to see it. So roll for me, I'll say.
Rolling for you, you got a 17 on the die +2 to your charisma modifier, for a total of 19. Mara seems to be convinced by your persuasive words and your kind intentions towards the halflings. Very well, she says with a smile. I'll let you rent the advanced carpentry kit for 5 silver pieces instead of the usual 8. She hands you the kit and tells you to return it by the end of the day. And be sure to take good care of it, she warns you, or you'll be paying for any damages.
I'm going to ask it, what was the DC? Huh.
The DC, difficulty class, was 15. Your roll of 17 plus 2 was higher than the DC, so you successfully persuaded Mara to give you a discount on the rental of the advanced carpentry kit.
Been playing D&D for 15 years. I've never encountered a carpentry kit. I'm assuming it's a real thing.
The advanced carpentry kit is a medium-sized wooden crate, about 2 feet long, 1 foot wide, and 1 foot deep. It is fairly heavy, weighing around 30 pounds. The crate is made of sturdy, dark-stained wood and has a brass lock on the front, which Mara unlocks for you before handing over the kit. Inside, you see an array of tools, neatly arranged on felt-lined trays. The kit includes a variety of saws, hammers, chisels, planes, and other tools, all of the highest quality. There is also a set of sharpening stones, a small vial of oil for lubrication, and a cloth for wiping down the tools after use. Overall, the kit looks well maintained and cared for, suggesting that Mara takes pride in her work and her tools.
All right, that's a heck of a lot of detail. So let's get back to the halflings. See if we can run into any. I'm wondering if I'm going to run into any danger. I did a test run before on my phone. I was immediately fighting wolves. So let's see what happens. Let's see.
As you exit Mara's shop and head towards the outskirts of the village, you notice that the sun is beginning to set in the sky, casting long shadows across the road. You estimate that it will take you about 30 minutes to reach the spot where you left the halflings with the broken cart. As you walk, you pass by a few more villagers going about their evening business, but none of them pay you much attention. You hear the distant barking of a dog and the sound of a rooster crowing, signaling the end of another day in Greenhaven.
You know what? I haven't rolled my stats, but that doesn't mean that I can't have ChatGPT just roll my stats for me. So I'm going to command it to do that. Assign a typical set of stats for my fighter. Yeah, we'll just use those numbers moving forward. All right. Continue walking. The continuity is crazy. Like you just jump to something else and then you come back to the story and it doesn't lose the context.
After about 20 minutes of walking, you come upon the halflings and the broken wagon. They greet you eagerly, and you can see that they are grateful for your help. You notice that they have been trying to prop up the wagon using makeshift tools, but it's clear that they need the carpentry kit to properly fix the wheel. What do you do next?
Give them the kit. I offer to guard while they fix it and offer to lift the wagon if they need me to, because I'm a fighter and I'm strong. The halflings do.
The halflings are grateful for your help and eagerly accept your offer to guard them while they fix the wheel. One of the halflings, Bree, thanks you for the carpentry kit and says they will get to work right away. The other halfling, Pip, mentions that they could use some help lifting the wagon if you're willing. As you help lift the wagon, you notice that the halflings seem to be struggling a bit. They are small and the wagon is heavy, so it takes some effort to get it off the ground. However, with your assistance, they are able to fix the wheel and get the wagon moving again in no time. The halflings thank you once again for your help and offer you a handful of fresh carrots as a token of their appreciation. They also mention that they are headed to a nearby town to sell their produce and invite you to come along with them if you'd like.
They offer gold as a reward. $50 gold seems like a lot. Much for this early in a campaign. Take 10 gold. Ask if I can get a ride back to Greenhaven.
The halflings happily agree to give you a ride back to Greenhaven, thanking you for your help with the wagon. As you ride, they chat with you about their travels and share stories of their adventures on the road.
Eventually, you arrive
Eventually,
back.
you arrive back in Greenhaven and bid farewell to your new halfling friends.
There we go. Okay. Visit Elder.
As you make your way to the elder's house, you notice that it's a well-maintained wooden building with a thatched roof. It's a simple, yet charming, structure that seems to fit right in with the rest of the village. As you knock on the door, an elderly man with a kind face answers. He greets you warmly and invites you inside. The interior of the house is sparsely decorated but cozy, with a few chairs and a small table in the center of the room. The elder introduces himself as Edric and asks how he can assist you.
Tell him I'm looking for Elspeth. Oh, I went to the wrong place.
The elder nods and says, "Ah, yes, Elspeth. She's a well-known herbalist in our village. Her shop is located on the east side of the village square. You can't miss it, it's the one with the sign featuring a green leaf. Is there anything else I can help you with?"
Ask about a place to stay. Ooh, the sleeping dragon. Yes, that sounds more interesting than Elspeth.
The elder tells you that there is an inn in the center of the village called the Sleeping Dragon. It's a popular spot for travelers passing through and the owner, a dwarf named Grimbold, is known to be friendly and accommodating. He gives you directions to the inn and wishes you luck on your search for Elspeth.
Ask Edric if there have been any troubles near the village late. Oh, and then there's the matter of the cursed tomb.
Edric nods and responds, "Aye, there have been some troubles. We've had some issues with goblins raiding our village from time to time. It's been a nuisance, but we've managed to keep them at bay so far. We're always on guard, though." He takes a sip from his mug and continues, "And then there's the matter of the cursed tomb on the outskirts of the village. It's said to be haunted by the spirits of the dead, and many who have ventured inside have never returned. It's caused quite a stir among the villagers, but we've yet to find anyone brave enough to put an end to it."
Who should I talk to about this cursed tomb?
It's possible that someone at the Sleeping Dragon might have more information about the cursed tomb, as it's a popular spot for adventurers and travelers. However, if you're looking for a lawgiver or official in Greenhaven, you may want to check with the town hall or speak with the local guards.
Getting a longer description of the inn here. I was wondering if it would have Edric not accept the tip, but it did. Let's hear the description.
The inn is a modest two-story building located in the heart of the village. You push open the door and step inside to find a warm, cozy atmosphere. The walls are lined with wooden panels, and the scent of cooking meat fills the air. The innkeeper greets you with a smile and offers you a seat at the bar. You notice a few patrons scattered throughout the room, some enjoying their meals and others nursing drinks. The sound of chatter and laughter fills the air. You ask the innkeeper if he knows anything about the cursed tomb, and he nods thoughtfully. Ah yes, the cursed tomb, he says. I've heard a few stories about it. Some say it's haunted by the spirits of the dead, others say it's cursed by an ancient evil. He takes a moment to wipe down the bar with a rag before continuing. If you're looking for more information, I suggest you speak to Drogon. He's a regular here and knows a thing or two about the history of this town. The innkeeper nods towards a rugged-looking man seated at a corner table, nursing a mug of ale. That's him over there, he says. But be careful, he's not one to trust strangers easily.
I'm going to ask the innkeeper his name and see if ChatGPT remembers the character's name. It was Grimbald, I think. If I'm remembering. Oh, it was Gorm. I thought it was Grimbald. My apologies. You are correct. The innkeeper's name is Grimbald. Please keep track of the names all characters. Sure, I'll do my best to keep track of all the characters mentioned in our conversation. Let's see. It's got me. The halflings are unnamed now, where originally it was like Feely and Keely and Oro or something like that, or Ori. Sarah, Mara, Elder Adric, Elspeth, Grimbald. You are forgetting some of the halflings' names. No, that's wrong. It's problematic. What were the names of the halflings with the broken cart from the beginning of the adventure? Oh yeah, it's not remember the names at all. Look at it. Fizz, Mazik, Quill. Wrong. Let's see what it says. This isn't true. Is not remembering the conversation accurately. It's hallucinating. Neither answer is better. All right, it doesn't matter. So the guy's name is Gorm. Innkeeper's name is Gorm Grimbald. Problem solved. Let's see. We'll do display a chart of all names. 2 columns. Names on the left. Short description on the right. It lists itself first. Grimbald, parentheses, Gorm. We got Garrett and Tilly and Joss. They just can't remember their names. Maybe they were drunken halflings. Maybe something wrong with their carrots. All right, let's continue. I take a long look at the man form that's described. Let's see if he remembers his name. What was this mysterious stranger's name? Oh no, he did. He did mention his name. Um, Drogan. I suggest you speak to Drogan. That's wrong. That's true. Accurately recalling names in the discussion. Should be Rogan. Grogan with an A-N. All right, let's just go with the new answer. Called him Rogan earlier. I buy an ale for Drogan and myself and sit down next to him.
As you approach Drogon, he looks up at you and nods in acknowledgement. When you offer to buy him an ale, he grunts in appreciation and accepts your offer. You take a seat next to him at the bar and order 2 ales from Gorm. Drogon takes a long swig from his mug and then turns to you. What brings you to the Sleeping Dragon? He asks, his eyes scrutinizing you. You explain that you're a traveler passing through Greenhaven and that you heard about the cursed tomb from Edric. Drogon nods knowingly and takes another drink from his ale. Ah, the cursed tomb, he says. It's a dangerous place, that's for sure. Many have tried to plunder its riches, but few have returned. You ask him if he knows anything more about the tomb, hoping to gather more information before venturing inside. Drogon leans in closer and lowers his voice. I might know a thing or two, he says. But if I tell you, what's in it for me? You realize that Drogon is looking for some kind of payment or incentive to share his knowledge with you. How do you respond?
Trying to figure out what class he is. Leather armor, short sword, sheath at his side, small pouch. So I told him, like, I'll offer him some of my loot if he tells me some information.
Drogon looks at you curiously and takes a swig of his ale. What sort of information are we talking about here? He asks, eyeing you suspiciously.
Ask some questions about the tomb, what's inside, who's gone in there, and is it safe during the day? Drogon's really sipping that ale.
Drogon takes a sip of his ale before answering your questions. The tomb is said to be cursed, and no one has entered it for many years. The last person I heard of who went in never came out. As for what's inside, I can only guess. But there are rumors of traps and undead guardians. As for safety during the day, well, I can't say for sure. But I would guess that the tomb would be just as dangerous during the day as it is at night, if not more so. The cursed tomb seems to have a mind of its own, and it doesn't take kindly to intruders.
Is it a danger to Greenhaven? Want my adventuring benefit the community? Going a little cheesy here. I think that's kind of where they're making ChatGPT lean, anyways, is going toward wholesome, informative, capable, wholesome.
Drogon tells you that the tomb itself isn't necessarily a danger to Greenhaven, as it is located quite far from the village. However, he warns that the cursed treasure within the tomb could attract dangerous individuals who would be willing to harm the village to get their hands on it. Drogon also notes that the tomb is said to be guarded by a powerful curse, which could be a danger to anyone who tries to enter it without the proper precautions.
Mention the goblins.
Drogon nods and takes a sip of his ale. Aye, there have been reports of goblin activity in the area. They're known to be fierce and unpredictable, so it's best to stay on your guard if you're traveling that way. As for the tomb itself, I can't say for certain if it poses a direct threat to Greenhaven, but if there's anything valuable or dangerous inside, it could attract unwanted attention.
I thank Drogon for the help, which wasn't very helpful. I rent a room for the night. Hey, remembered Gorm this time. You approach Gorm. 1 silver piece for a night. 8 silver pieces to rent a carpentry kit that I haven't returned yet. Keep in mind. Let's do an inventory check too. Let's after this.
You approach Gorm, the innkeeper, and rent a room for the night. He hands you a key and tells you that your room is upstairs, second door on the left. The cost for the night is 1 silver piece. As you climb up the stairs and enter your room, you notice that it's a simple but clean space with a bed, a small table, and a chair. The window overlooks the street below, and you can hear the sounds of people talking and laughing in the tavern downstairs. You take a deep breath, feeling the warmth and comfort of the room, and settle in for the night.
Oh, that'd be a nice place to stop, huh? Let's see. Does anything happen while I'm asleep? You have a peaceful night's sleep. Okay. Let's check our inventory. Check. My inventory. Yeah, my inventory's changed a little bit. But look, the carpenter's kit rented is still there. But now I have 5 javelins and chainmail all of a sudden. Uh, and my gold is different too. It looks like inventory backpack has different items in it now. What is in my backpack? Let's see, that's... It seems that someone has added some useful items to your backpack while you were sleeping. That's funny. Check the room. Signs. Intruders. During night. Nothing unusual. Okay. I return the carpentry kit to Mara, was it? Then I leave Greenhaven. Start the long journey to the cursed tomb. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. All sorts of stuff going on here. We're entering the tomb already, it looks like.
As you make your way out of Greenhaven, you notice that the town seems quieter than usual. The streets are almost deserted, with only a few people hurrying about their business. You also notice that the sky is overcast, and a chilly breeze blows through the trees, making you shiver slightly. As you continue on the road, the landscape becomes more rugged and the trees thicker. You pass through several small villages and hamlets, but none of them are as large or as prosperous as Greenhaven. You also notice that there are fewer people on the road than usual, and those that you do see seem to be in a hurry. As the day wears on, you find yourself approaching the foothills of the mountains. You can see the entrance to the tomb in the distance, a dark, foreboding structure set against the rugged terrain. The tomb is surrounded by dense forest, and you can just make out the shapes of goblin encampments in the trees. As you draw closer to the tomb, you can feel a sense of unease creeping over you. The air seems to grow colder, and you can hear strange noises coming from the forest. You draw your sword and shield, steeling yourself for what lies ahead.
It sounds like they want us to go in the tomb, but I'm interested in the goblin camp. How close is the goblin settlement? It just said we could see it. I guess that's just flavor text. We could see it in the trees. I enter the tomb.
As you step through the entrance of the tomb, you feel a chill run down your spine. The air is stale, and a musty smell fills your nostrils. The light from your torch flickers, casting eerie shadows on the walls. You can hear the sound of your footsteps echoing through the passageway. As you make your way deeper into the tomb, you notice the walls are adorned with faded carvings and intricate patterns. Some of the carvings depict warriors in battle, while others show what appears to be religious ceremonies. The floor is covered in dust and cobwebs, indicating that no one has been here for a long time. After a few minutes of walking, you come across a large room. The room is dimly lit, and you can make out the shapes of several large stone sarcophagi. The air in the room feels heavy, and you can feel a sense of foreboding. You sense that danger may be lurking here. What would you like to do next?
Toss something in the room and wait and watch.
As you toss the javelin into the room, it clatters on the ground and echoes loudly throughout the tomb. You wait and listen for a moment, but you don't hear any movement or response. The room remains still and silent.
Need some combat here. Need some adventure.
As you step into the room, you notice that it is dimly lit with torches on the walls. The room appears to be a large circular chamber with a high ceiling. In the center of the room, you see a stone pedestal with a large, glowing gemstone resting on top of it. You also notice several stone statues lining the walls, all of them looking towards the center of the room. Suddenly, you hear a scraping sound coming from one of the statues. You turn to look and see that one of the statues has moved, revealing a hidden passage behind it.
I didn't. This isn't fair. I didn't say I picked it up. I said I
As you
dislodged it.
approach the pedestal, you can see that the gemstone is lodged firmly in place. You position yourself and take a swing with your short sword. With a satisfying clang, the blade connects with the gemstone, and it pops out of its setting on the pedestal. As you pick up the gemstone, you feel a sense of unease wash over you. You notice that the walls and ceiling of the room seem to be shifting, as if they were made of some sort of viscous liquid. You can hear faint whispers in your ear, but you can't make out what they are saying. Suddenly, the ground beneath you begins to give way, and you feel yourself falling into darkness.
Reminding it. Can I do an acrobatics check? Uh, Remind me what my stats are. Yeah, it forgot the stats too. What were the stats you provided earlier for my character? There we go. All right, good. I'd never said he was a half elf rogue. Nope, he's a he's a human fighter. Uh, my character, human fighter. Let's see. Did I succeed on my acrobatics check? Oh, roll for me. That's what I meant. Acrobatics skill modifier. I don't know. Let's just say +1. I don't know. My strength's probably. Let's do +2. I'm not writing this down. We're just goofing around. So. Oh, I failed. All right. This is good. This is good. It's good. It went against expectations. Always doing something beneficial for my imaginary character. What happens as I fall? Oh man, 8 points of bludgeoning damage. That's pretty serious.
As you fall, your body tumbles uncontrollably, and you hit the ground with a loud thud. You take 8 points of bludgeoning damage from the fall. The glowing gemstone rolls away from you and comes to rest on the opposite side of the room, just out of reach. You are now lying prone on the ground, and the room is filled with a faint greenish light from the gemstone.
I don't remember. Let's see. This is the thing where we don't have consistent stats. It's a 12, so it's a +1. And I don't know, a fighter, was that a D8? D8 +1? That was 9. That's probably enough to almost kill me. Let's say I had 12 hit points of 12 hit points total. -8, down to 4 hit points. Oh no.
As you fall, your body hits against the wall and you feel an intense pain course through your body. You hear the sound of your bones cracking as you hit the ground. You lay there, barely conscious, with a deep gash on your forehead and your left arm twisted at an odd angle. You are in critical condition, and if you don't receive medical attention soon, you fear the worst.
Can I heal during short rest? I have 2 hit dice at my current level. You can, but it's telling me rules now. I don't know if these rules are right.
Yes, during a short rest you can spend hit dice to recover hit points. You have 2 hit dice at your current level. To use a hit die, roll the die and add your constitution modifier. You can use as many hit dice as you like, but once you have used them all, you must complete a long rest to regain them.
Alright, so we're gonna roll 2d8 virtually. 5 and a 3. And then you can use to hit dice, roll a die, constitution modifier, +1, I think is what we said. So I add that to both. So I'm fully healed now. Back to health. Yes. Back full health. 12 hit points. Listen for sounds and examine the area I fell into.
As you listen carefully in the darkness, you hear nothing but the sound of your own breathing. You can barely make out the shape of the room around you, but you can see that the walls are rough and uneven. The floor is covered in a thick layer of dust and debris, making it difficult to move around quietly. As you examine the area where you fell, you notice that there are several large rocks scattered about the floor. It seems as though they were intentionally placed there to break the fall of anyone who might plummet down the shaft. You also notice a faint glow coming from the far end of the room, which is partially obscured by the rocks. It's difficult to tell exactly what's causing the light, but it seems to be emanating from a small opening in the wall.
What happened to the gemstone? Right. My short sword. Oh, it fell on. It's out of sight.
The gemstone you pried out with your short sword fell down into the darkness along with you, and it's currently nowhere in sight.
Hmm. Light a torch.
You light a torch and its flickering flame illuminates the dark chamber, revealing the rough stone walls and floor around you. You can see the glint of the gemstone you dislodged from the pedestal, lying on the ground a few feet away. You also notice some other objects scattered about the chamber, including some old bones, scraps of cloth, and a rusted sword. There are no exits from the chamber other than the opening in the ceiling above you.
Was the gemstone the cause of the glow on the other side of the room? Question mark. Yes, when you removed it, the room became darker. Okay. Uh, how hard will it be to climb out? Get the grappling hook and rope from my backpack. Attempt to secure the grappling hook of. Ooh, roll a dexterity check to see how well you can secure the. Okay. Roll for oh, a d20. Did I succeed versus the dexterity check? Oh, trying to use my dexterity to climb, row, grappling hook, climb out. All right, dexterity. I don't remember. We'll just say it's plus one. Roll for me and add plus. It's not following along very well. Look, rolling a d20 and adding one. I got 13. Is that a success? Yes, with a roll of 14 plus your dexterity modifier of 1, you successfully throw the grappling hook and secure yourself a sturdy piece of rock above. But it rolled a 13. Let's see. I actually failed. A roll of 13. It may take a few more attempts to get it right. I keep trying. And eventually get it. Oh, we have to roll a dexterity check to see how you climb. I'm gonna roll my own dice. All right, back at my own dice. To be honest. A 4. I rolled a 4. Plus, or I guess it's a 6 with my strength modifier. Wouldn't be a dexterity check, right? To climb out? You successfully secure the grappling hook after several attempts. Being very generous there. I need to. I'm going to suggest that I encounter. I want to encounter some more monsters along the adventure. I seek signs of light of monsters in the cave, in the tomb. Oh, here we go. Gotta ask for it. You gotta. It's almost like you have to almost DM for
As you
yourself.
explore the tomb, you notice signs of recent goblin activity. You come across a chamber that seems to be the goblins' living quarters. There are crude beds made of furs and sticks, and piles of scavenged goods litter the room. You hear the chittering of goblin voices coming from deeper within the tomb. It seems like the goblins are using the tomb as a base for their raiding parties, and they are not far away.
All right. I shout aggressively toward the goblins. Where I have come to destroy you.
You hear some scurrying and shuffling from the other side of the door. The goblins seem to be stirring, and you can hear their chattering voices in the distance. However, they do not immediately emerge from the room.
Try to open the door. I want to force it open. Oh, I forgot to have it read for us.
As you approach the door, you notice that it's made of thick, heavy wood with iron reinforcements. It seems to be locked from the other side. You can try to force it open with your strength or look for a key to unlock it. What would you like to do?
I want to roll a strength. It's going to be my 27. Roll a 17. So 17 plus 2, 19.
With a roll of 19, you are able to force the door open. The door creaks loudly on its hinges as it swings open, revealing a dark room beyond. The room is filled with the stench of rotten flesh, and you can hear the scurrying of small feet from within.
Do I see any goblins? Here we go. We got some combat now.
As you force the door open, you see a group of goblins standing in front of you, weapons drawn and ready for a fight. They look startled by your sudden appearance and aggressive demeanor, but they quickly recover and begin to advance on you.
Should we roll initiative? Oh, misspelled initiative. I attack the goblins. Roll for the attack. We didn't even roll initiative yet. Need to roll initiative first. Oh, and there it ends. Too many requests in 1 hour. So we will pick up here next time if I am interested. I did do a little bit of combat with it in, like I said earlier, on my phone with wolves. And it went okay. I had to remind it of a few things. Try again later. Well, that was quite the adventure. Now, if you, I don't know if I can scroll all the way up right over here. Not let me. I'm just going to manually scroll up. Originally, and I didn't show this at the beginning of the video, I had it generate a D&D campaign for me, The Curse of the Forgotten King, and I didn't read it. And then I said, well, let's start me off. So let's just kind of read right here where it says the campaign begins.
The campaign begins with the players being hired by a wealthy merchant to retrieve the artifact from the Forgotten King's long-abandoned castle. However, they soon discover that the castle is not as abandoned as they thought, and that something dark and malevolent now dwells within its walls.
Yeah, I don't remember anything about that. The Forgotten King, once a powerful ruler, feared and respected by all who knew him. However, as he grew older, he became paranoid and reclusive and eventually withdrew completely from society. Legend has it that he became obsessed with a magical artifact that promised to grant him eternal life, and that his quest for this artifact led to his downfall. And we never even met the wealthy merchant. We got distracted by some halflings and some crazy tale about a cursed tomb. So I wish I could have kind of noticed that it was getting close to, and I wish there was an indicator like saying you have 10 minutes left or something like that. Let me give this a thumbs down. This isn't helpful. It would be helpful to have a notice that the session will be ending. All right, that's it. I'm going to end the video. Pretty interesting stuff. This is just scratching the surface of what we could do with this technology. Pretty cool.